After a long day out on the boat today, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this 2013 Sea-Doo GTI 130. Check out the 130, baby. The customer originally brought me the ski because they said that the on-off button was messed up. When they arrived, they said that they've replaced it. So I'm like, well, then what am I supposed to do with this on-off switch I have? Well, it's not a big deal because the on-off switch that I have, they actually changed the model. So this one is a hardwire to the connector. The new ones, they are a connector at the actual switch itself. So I guess I'll hold on to it, save it for another day. I didn't want to cut this harness open. I don't usually connect or disconnect the wires from the main connectors or from the harness, so I think eventually I'll get into doing that, but I really don't get into the electrical aspect, although I am pretty good with electrical engineering. I don't want to get into that on these. So what I'm going to do here is hook up the new, this is not the new one, this is the damaged one. There's the new one here. The new DESS post, also known as the safety lanyard. The issue on this ski, when you turn the ski on, you would get the welcome display on the dash or cluster. However, you wouldn't get the two beeps when the key was plugged in. So, it's a little bit of a challenge, and the dash will go off really quick. So it's a little bit of a challenge when you bring something like this to your repair person or shop because they have to start from scratch. When the lanyard or the DESS post, I'm sorry, was going bad, if it was brought to the dealer, I could have had this in, or your mechanic, and we don't have to play the game of what's bad. I had to go through the entire electrical system just to find out it was the DESS post, or just to limit it to the DESS post and the computer and the communication in between the two. I don't really like to go around changing things, cutting things out and this and that. These jobs aren't necessarily expensive. You're talking about a couple hundred or a few $100s to do something like this. So if you're having a situation where the dash turns off quick, you don't get the double beep when the lanyard is in the post, your issue, more often than not, is going to be a bad DESS post. There's a few videos on here, and these things go bad. And this is one of the last years that Sea-Doo used this style of a DESS post, so let's go ahead and replace it. So I cut out the old post, and in doing so, I'm testing it, quick test. The new post works, so I'm going to go ahead and slide the wire through the steering wheel, and it's going to rest somewhere in this area anyway, so that's where I'm going to leave it. I have my Dorman Electrical Essentials heat shrink tubing, so I'm going to use this to heat shrink the splice that I make. I have my soldering iron ready to go. Yes, I'm going to solder the wires. Since I'm not plugging directly into the harness, I think that the next best thing is to actually solder them. So I have the wires soldered together. I think I did a pretty decent job on that. They're not coming apart. Now I'm going to go ahead and shrink wrap them, and we'll get this done. So here you see the wires are all shrink wrapped. What I do is I put super glue around the original wires protective coating and let it dry, and then I put super glue over the actual solder that I made, and then hurry up and slide the shrink wrap over it. What that does is it gives it another possibility of being sealed, so that if water was to get in here, it'll take a longer time to cause any damage. So you can never be too secure when you're dealing with electrical in a salt water environment. It's very corrosive, so since I'm not going to the plug, that is the route I took. And then I have the additional cover over the connection so they're not exposed, so it almost looks like OEM. I do have a little gap here, but I'll slide this down, butt them up, and it'll be all good. It's about maybe 6 to 8 inches longer than it was originally had I gone directly into the plug, but this little bit that's hanging, I'll zip tie to the actual hole of the craft to keep it from being an issue or getting chafed. So now, in an attempt to make the ski do something it wouldn't do when it was brought to me, we'll go ahead and plug in the key. Alright, start her up, and let's see. See if I can catch that beautiful double beep footage. Oh, she's an aggressive one. There we have it. And then for the also anticipated startup. There you have it. Oh, and look. All of my sheathing fell into the ski. Okay, all better. I blew the leaves out. This is the middle of summer down here in Houston. We had a real bad storm come through the other day, and I had this outside for a birthday party, and needless to say, well, it was after the storm, but man, that's just a lot of dead leaves in the middle of summer. Yeah, interesting. So the ski starts up. What do we want to do next? I am going to take you through clearing the maintenance code that this ski has. Now that I can get the ski to stay on, reading key, reading key. You know which key it is. Don't act brand new. Okay. Let me take it off and put it on. Okay, you happy now? Let's see. Normal key. Okay, let's put this baby on the buds and see what she does. There's a maintenance light, so I'll go ahead and see what that maintenance is. This is a 130, so it's not going to be a supercharger. Most likely might be just oil. Most is hiding out here in the front. I already have it hooked in. You have to remove the white cap that oops, get my hand out the way. That says BRP Mexico. This is the DESS post cap. Remove that, and you can plug your DESS post diagnostic system in. I'm sorry, I kept saying DESS post. It's not the DESS post. Okay, let's open up. I think it's gonna be buds 1. We want to read data. So when the DESS post was bad, I couldn't even do this, so that's why I was a little reluctant to go right into cutting the DESS post out. One, you know, it's not plug and play; it's direct wire, and 2, I didn't have just normal service. So here we're reading the data. I reset the service to get rid of the wrench, so you can see here on 8/12/20 the service has been reset. So at 40 hours you'll probably get another code. We'll check and see the faults. The faults, I cleared them. Unfortunately the video wasn't recording. So it looks like everything is good to go here. The history, advance, keys, the vehicle, so everything is fine. We'll go ahead and exit the bud system, close that document, start this. There you have it, a nice little run through of installing a DESS post. I'm going to go ahead and put the steering wheel back together and get the ski cleaned up.